Hello and welcome, welcome. All right, and welcome to today's webinar, The Essential Systems for Entrepreneurs. I am super topic because this is really my wheelhouse that I preach to all of my clients. This is what I preach to all of my coaching clients, all of them about setting up essential systems inside their businesses. And this is one of the things, this is the core of what I do. This is what I live for. It is the nerdiest thing in the world, but I love it so much. And I'm super stoked presentation. So for those of you who don't, my name is Jen Lawrence. I am a productivity systems expert, 15 years of experience in project management and administration. I have been building systems since I was a child. Yes, I was that child that had a library for my friends to check out books. So I always knew where they came from. My first job I ever had was building a tracking system for a podiatrist that traveled to nursing homes. My first big job ever is I built an entire compliance tracking system for an actuarial firm. So I love the idea of finding a problem and making the engine run by building a thoughtful and intentional system. I am also wildly enthusiastic about personal and professional development. So if you have any recommendations of podcasts, books, or whatever that you love, please let me know. I'm always open. And of course, I am thrilled to always talk about anything Disney. You will notice that there is always going to be some sort of reference to Disney in my presentations. Buckle up, it's going to be fun. All right, before we get started, one of the biggest pieces of resistance that I get from entrepreneurs is that they would love to build a thoughtful system around their client experience, or they would love to clean up their digital files, or they really need to figure out how to do this, and this in their business, but they're just too busy. And to that, I always respond with this. It's a little snarky, but if you're too busy to build good systems, then you will always be too busy. Always. And here's why. You have to put in that little bit of legwork ahead of time to make the system run more smoothly and efficiently to serve you. Instead, if you don't build in any of those system pieces, whether it's, and we're not talking just like automations and crazy software, I'm talking like just building like checklists and documenting processes. And if you don't have those in place, if you don't have the right tools in place, then you will always be chasing your own tail and it'll cause you more work along the road. All right, so for these purposes, I have bucketed our systems into 7 buckets for entrepreneurs. They are operational, client management, financial, marketing, sales, legal, and talent. And today we're going to dive into what do those buckets entail and some examples of thoughtful systems that you should be creating inside there. Not only creating, but documenting. Documentation is the key to not only running your business most efficiently, it is the best way to ensure that you deliver a consistent experience and you then prime yourself to delegate to someone else. All right, so let's talk operational. This is anything that supports your day-to-day operations. And this is usually where most of us get started, right? We're like, okay, well, I need an email address. I need a calendar. Those usually go together, right? That's great. And then task management, which holy hell, whatever that looks like. And then document management. So that's going to be either your Google Drive or your Dropbox, your Share Drive, whatever it is you want to use. And then any sort of password database. And I always encourage everyone to develop some sort of password database. And the reason for this is one, you don't waste all of your time resetting your passwords when you forget them, especially for tools that you only use once in a while. But also this helps with delegation. I always recommend LastPass. LastPass is a double encrypted password database, and it makes it super easy to share out the cards, which house your login information and your passwords, to other people that you want to delegate to. So it's really helpful if you are engaging a contractor who's going to build your website, and so they just need your login. You can just send them the LastPass login. And the great thing too is that you can also keep the password hidden from them. All they do is click on the LastPass and it opens it up, and they don't actually ever get to see your true password. So when you're talking operationally, I highly encourage you to keep these all housed within the same operating system. That meaning that if you are going to work in Google Suite, use Google Suite for your email, your calendar, and your document management. If their task management tool, Google Tasks, work for you, then start there. Try to keep everything as self-contained as possible, because the more workspaces you create for yourself, the more hectic your day is going to feel, just because you are transitioning from interface to interface. So Google Suite is a great one to use, and also Office 365. All right, client management. Oh, I have a typo. This is one of the things that gets skipped over really frequently, because we're trying so hard to just get through the day to day, that we forget that documentation and keeping our client information orderly is instrumental to scaling your business. You need to have a client experience process and a way to manage your records that is highly repeatable and easily accessible, so that you can, one, reference any contracts, documents, any records of any kind for them swiftly, but also then your client experience process. And this means your onboarding, their actual experience with you, whatever your exchange is, whether it's purchasing a product or purchasing a service or engaging with you, whatever it may be. And then their offboarding. And when I say offboarding, I don't mean like kicking them out the door, but when your engagement ends. All of that is smooth and it's highly repeatable. You can customize within, but make sure that you're creating a system that is an easy to checklist sort of thing. If you can't checklist it and there's a lot of, well, there's this and well, there's that, you've overcomplicated your system. So a CRM, which is a client relationship manager, is something like Dubsado, Honeybook. Some people create their own within their task management systems. I've seen really good ones built within Asana and Trello. And it's anywhere that you're going to keep all of your client information in one place. There are CRMs that are designed for specific industries. For instance, there is one called Clio, which is designed for lawyers. Then Honeybook is actually designed for visual creatives. So there's a lot of graphical design built into it. Dubsado is built more for coaching and engagement-based businesses like event planners or coaching programs, etc. So try to find the CRM that is designed for your business model, because that's going to have everything built in and already automated and thought of and templated for you to begin with. Financial supports all things. So this is your bookkeeper, your invoicing process, how you keep track of your expenses, any account needs, and then of course your taxes. For financial, I'll be completely transparent. This is not my strong suit. Like, I can do my own invoicing and I know how to keep track of expenses. I was an executive assistant for 15 years. However, taxes freak me out, and bookkeeping, I just can't seem to keep up with. So I do highly recommend that financial be something that you consider outsourcing. And I highly encourage you to outsource it as early as possible, so that your financial health is always at the forefront and you have somebody looking out for you. A lot of people will say that like the first contractor you should hire in your business is a VA, and I disagree with that. I think the first contractor you should hire in your business is some sort of CPA or bookkeeper, so that you have someone who's looking at your financial health, because the last thing you want to deal with in your business is, one, running out of money, or two, having the IRS come after you because you didn't file your taxes correctly and now you have all these penalties and etc. So this is something that I would firm up what you want to control, what you don't want to control, what you are already skilled at doing. That's the other thing that a lot of people don't consider, is like, I don't know the tax code. I don't want to know the tax code. Like, it's too much for me to understand the business versus personal tax codes and all that. So I pay someone to know all of that for me. So something to consider when you're looking at your financial systems. Marketing. So this supports attracting potential clients into your business. And while we all start our businesses and run our businesses and we think, I want to be a CEO, we never really think about the fact that we also have to be a CMO until you hire somebody to do it. So this is anything from your email marketing to your social media, to your website, to graphic design, to brand development. And all of this can sound really hairy for some people. Like, for some people, this is super fun. And for other people, this is really intimidating. I will say this, everyone should have an email marketing system, because remember that you don't own social media. A social media platform can go away at any time. We all saw the drama that happened around TikTok this year. So if you are looking to build an audience, build a sales funnel, or anything like that, you need to be converting people into your email marketing system. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to set up all of these email sequences and you have to write a newsletter and all that. You just need to be able to pull people together so that when you are ready to contact them, you have somewhere to contact them and they're all in one place. I know someone who has over 1,000 people on a mailing list and she emails them a month, and it's really effective for her because she keeps them slightly engaged, but she's not spamming them because there's no purpose behind that for her business. But it allows her to then own their contact information without relying on social media. The other thing is your website. A basic website will do. So whether it is Wix, which if you're unfamiliar, Wix is kind of like the PowerPoint of website design. So if you're comfortable within PowerPoint, you'll be totally great within Wix. Then there's Squarespace, which is a little bit of a step up. Everything works in these modular designs. And then there's WordPress, which is traditionally the hardest platform to work in because you do have to hard code and you have to know a little bit about website design to really get WordPress to do what you want it to do. But when it comes to marketing, the idea is to be consistent. So if you are going to develop processes and procedures around marketing, make sure that you are consistently emailing, consistently posting on social media, whether that's just like once a week. Social media rewards consistency, not frequency. And then your website, your graphic design, and your brand development should all be very similar. For graphic design, I highly encourage you to use Canva. Don't use Photoshop. Don't worry about paying a ton of money to get a full graphics package put together if you're not there yet. Try to use Canva to get by until your business is really running, and then that could be something that you outsource. Sales supports securing relationships with your potential clients. So marketing is like they've come to your front door, they see your doormat, they're like, hey, you're awesome. Sales is when they knock on the door and they have that conversation with you. So this is anything that creates a sales funnel. So this is anything that starts the client experience. This is any emails that you're going to send to them that would then lead them into a discovery call with you, into a contract with you, into purchasing something from your site, anything of that nature. And then, of course, your customer service. And this is really overlooked. What are your service level agreements with yourself that you're going to respond to emails? What is the level of detail you are going to provide to people? What sort of brand experience are you going to provide to people that makes them feel appreciated so that they feel like they are comfortable moving to the next stage with you? This is all about creating a secure, trusted, engaged relationship. This is not and that's the thing that a lot of people think about is sales is actually marketing and all the stuff that you put out. Sales is how you actually build relationships with the people around you. For legal, this is anything that supports protecting your business. And this is also another space where I recommend you don't mess around. The number one mistake that entrepreneurs make when building their legal systems is they will just Google search coaching agreement. And they'll pull whatever Word document lands in their search bar and they'll rip it off and they'll, put in their words and they'll think it's legally binding. 99% of the time, it's not going to be legally binding at all. So what I recommend is having some systems or support contractors or systems to help you build up your contracts, your agreements. So agreements are not your contracts. Agreements are things like your website terms and conditions, your privacy policies, all of these things. If you are doing business in the United States or in the EU, you have to have on your website. And then also insurance. Does your business model require you to have insurance? So all of these, definitely you want to figure out what your system is going to be. I highly recommend starting with a templated contracting service. So there's a really well-known one called the Contract Shop. And what they do is they have lawyer prepared and then lawyer reviewed contract templates that are designed for a number of different industries, and you pay for the template that they provide to you, and it's a lifetime membership on that template. So if California decides to change their privacy policy again, you will get an updated contract template for free with the new language so that you can continue to ensure that all of your templates and all of your contracts are up to date and legally binding. They also do this with website terms and agreements and privacy policies. There are a number of services out there that do this. So search around if you have friends that know lawyers who are trying to make money doing this. It's a great way to ensure, one, that you're helping other small business owners if they are building these sort of templates, but also to ensure that your business is legally protected. And finally, talent. This is usually the one that we leave to the end because we're like, I'm going to be a solopreneur forever. I don't have to worry about what my talent is, what it's going to look like. But you need to have systems and protocols and procedures in place to support your expanding and growing business operations. And what I mean by that is that if you're going to hire contractors, so in a contractor, I also put this in there as like any on your team. And the word team is used loosely, right? Because it's not necessarily employees, but it's like, how do I engage and how do I keep all the contact information and everything together for my CPA and my tax accountant and the people who run my payroll? How do I keep all of that together? How do I keep all of my bookkeeping information together? How do I keep my lawyer friend who I have on retainer? All of those things, you want to make sure that you have it somehow documented, not only their information, but how you choose to engage with them and when you need to engage with them. The other thing is, if you are going to bring on any contracted employees, such as a VA, an OBM, for those of you not familiar, a VA is a virtual assistant and an OBM is an online business manager. They are foundationally different. A lot of people try to use them interchangeably, but I will have a conversation with you if you don't know the difference. And then also, like, if you have a graphic designer, a video editor, a social media manager, a marketing director, all of those people, you need to have some sort of system to onboard them, to keep their records, how you're paying them, all of that. You kind of have to become your own HR department. And I got to tell you, it makes your life a lot easier if you create some sort of system with like a checklist. And this is something that you could easily pull templates from. But I do know that there are a lot of HR consultants out there. This is actually a thing. There are HR consultants for small businesses that will set up your onboarding process for you and then give you all of the templates so that you can then know that you're ready to onboard people and you've got everything in place and what you need to collect, what you need to provide to them, etc. It's really a great service. So that's the other thing to think about, is all of these systems along the way, there's somebody who does it. And so that's kind of the cool thing, is that if you're ever like, I need someone who can help me with we all know about sales and marketing, right? That's like the sexy part of business. It's also the biggest headache for all of us, but that's like where we see all of the effort being put in, right? We see all of the effort of, you get told what you should be posting on Instagram or how you should be engaging on LinkedIn and what you should be doing to onboard clients and all that. But when it comes to our back-end operations, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of people that have our backs, but there are. And there are contractors out there that you don't have to build it from scratch. You don't have to figure it out. There are people who already know how to do it, can give you a solution that is tailored to your business model so that you can be on your way. Are there any questions from those that are on? I'm actually really impressed at how quickly I got through this one. All right, so if there are no questions, I'm going to tell you about a new thing that I'm launching for 2021, and that is the Essential Systems VIP Day. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're like, I don't have any of this in place, Jen, or I have pieces in place, but none of them speak to each other. Like my email marketing system doesn't talk to my website, or it doesn't work the way that I need it to, or I have a CRM, but I don't even know how to use it. I've just been putting contracts in it, whatever it may be. I am here to fix that for you in a day. It's a done in a day deal where we work one-on-one. We tackle your biggest pain points and we actually implement the solutions live. So when you end the day, your systems are now phenomenally further along. And you get to then get back to just running your business, and you get to get back to what you love doing. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and email me and I'll send over all the information. My email address is right there on the screen. This is something I'm super excited about. It's a really fun day for me. And so I hope to make it as fun for you. And if you have team members already, if you have a VA or you have a social media manager and you want them to be involved, because it is virtual, anybody that's on your team that needs to be there to see how the systems work, that needs to be trained on how to do it, can also be on the call. It's not limited to one-on-one. All right. And as always, I would love for anyone and everyone to connect with me on social media. I am an older millennial, but I am essentially everywhere. So I would love to connect with you. And that wraps us up. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and I wish you all the best.